Hello and welcome to Sport for Business, where we have an Olympic-themed session today. A couple of weeks ago, Allianz announced that they were going to become the main commercial partner of the Olympic Federation of Ireland, backing up the relationship which they already have with the International Olympic Council. We're joined today by Valerie Hedden, who's the sponsorship manager with Allianz, and Peter Sherrard, the chief executive of the Olympic Federation of Ireland. So a very warm welcome to you both, and congratulations on what should be a great deal for sport and hopefully the brand as well. Valerie, Allianz have got a great range of sporting investments and partnerships that you have here in Ireland. What is it about sport that makes it special for you as a brand?
Oh, I think for us in Allianz, it's about sport in general, just how it brings people together, no matter what age, where you're from. It has that ability to unite and excite people. And from our perspectives, then, it in a crowded marketplace like the insurance sector is, it gives us an opportunity to use our sponsorship portfolio and sports to kind of stand out and differentiate ourselves from our competitors. And we kind of view it from a perspective of, business for the brand and also for people, and how we kind of engage the communities that we are working with in terms of our staff, in terms of communities. And it fits well with who we are as a company and securing people's futures. So certainly every moment, I think, of sport links in some way, shape or form to the courage that we talk about in people's everyday lives. So it's just something that helps us to engage and stand out, and something that has been a part of Allianz's DNA for some time now.
You have been able to amplify particularly the partnerships with the GAA and especially Paralympics Ireland. Ellen Keane featuring in the ad, the Courage ad, and the Courage Chronicles that you've done an excellent job on. So I guess there's going to be similar relationship building with the Olympic side of the house. But that relationship from IPC to Paralympics Ireland, you're going to echo that now with the IOC and the Olympic Federation. What are some of the learnings that have come through that transition from global to local that you'll be able to do now that you're in with both parties?
Yeah, no, absolutely. As you say, we've been involved with Paralympics Ireland for over 10 years now, and Group have been involved with Paralympics for even longer, back since 2006. So certainly what we could see when we were becoming partners of the Olympic movement was the importance of having a local partner. And that's why we were excited to engage with the OFI, and are absolutely thrilled now to be in partnership, because you really need the local partnership, I suppose, to bring a global sponsorship to life and really have those local stories that engage the community, because that's what it's about. And both can work in a really complementary way. We've also gone in the opposite direction, where, as you mentioned, Ellen Keane, that we work with so much in Ireland, that Ellen has actually been picked up by Global, and she featured in one of the Global campaigns last year. So it's about really having a strong partnership locally, working to promote our athletes locally, and we'll be doing that with Peter and the team, just trying to really build on that local activation and developing some really interesting plans over the next 3 years as we get on the road to Paris 24. I think it works out really well for us that it's a European Games that we're in partnership for. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting.
It will indeed. Peter, if I can come to you, you were front and center stage with your Olympians, your athletes, producing 2 gold medalists for the first time since 1932. An exceptional summer. How have things been for you? What's been on the agenda since you returned from Tokyo as a successful Team Ireland?
Well, yes, thanks for that, Rob, and thanks for the opportunity today. I mean, it's been extremely busy because effectively they were straight into the Paris cycle, and indeed even pre-Tokyo we had been out to Paris, but a lot of those that follow-up had to happen immediately. So 3 weeks ago we were in Paris looking at some follow-up to that 2019 site visit. Really exciting in terms of both on the performance side, the hospitality side, and it's really close. So that's something that we're developing a lot at the moment. We're working closely on a new agreement with the Sport Ireland Institute for performance support. So that's something that worked extremely successfully and underpinned a lot of the success. in Tokyo, but we need to develop that. And you can't sit still. It's important that you learn from what you're doing and continue to improve. In relation to the findings from Tokyo, there's a debrief process which has involved all of the sports. So a lot of that work is coming together to make sure that we continually improve. And we've got big targets ahead, both in the Paris cycle and on into the LA cycle. Of course, that's not to forget that we have a need to look after athletes and athlete transition. So we've had a really nice homecoming for the athletes in Dublin Castle. And it was a really special event that they could be recognised by the Taoiseach, by the ministers who were present, and of course with our sponsors. So it was fantastic to have Allianz there and with us on this next really important step of the journey. And from the point of view of winter sports, we have Beijing just around the corner for the Winter Olympics in January, February. So there's a huge amount of work going on with the team. So we just haven't really had any downtime that you might have a little bit of post normal games, for a month or two where it's a little bit quieter to get your thoughts together. It's really been straight into it. So it's a good place to be.
And a shorter cycle as well leading into Paris. The preparation of the athletes, the work that goes into the logistics of getting them there in the best possible shape is really important. But the commercial side is something which underpins all of that. What does it mean in actual terms? What does having a partner like Allianz on board mean that you can do with the athletes and with the Olympic ideals that you might not otherwise be able to do?
Yeah, well, it's huge. I mean, and we're very grateful to Sean, Valerie, the whole team in Allianz for seeing that besides the global opportunity that presents itself with the connection to Olympic sport, that there is that connection locally, which can really, really drive some important business metrics, because there's obviously a reason for becoming involved from Allianz's perspective. But the thing that I think we're particularly pleased is that for Allianz, it goes beyond just those simple business metrics. It is genuinely about wanting to provide something back at community level and really support the athletes from many, many different walks of life and many, many different parts of Ireland, and it's creating that relationship. So some of the early discussions that we've been having is about creating that relationship with the athletes and really being there to support them on their journey. So that means a huge amount to us. But it's equally important then that commercially, that we have a good, strong working relationship with a really good group of sponsors like Allianz, who can help us to achieve what we need. And in many cases, that's adding the likes of discretionary funding for innovation, for technological innovation, for welfare support for the athletes. It means being able to add things like business class flights, for example, just little things that make a real difference. But it's important that we're at the very, we pitch ourselves against the very top and make sure that we continue to improve. I think we've come some way, but there's plenty of room for further improvement in the next cycle and the cycle after that.
It's always the case that success breeds the demand for greater success. You're coming in off the back of a successful range of partnerships, Valerie. I guess that storytelling is going to be an important part of this, as well as the innovation that Peter has mentioned. Is there anything at this early stage of the partnership that either of you can tell me about what way you're going to activate over the coming few months and years?
Oh, we're in the throes of the whole planning process now for 22, so it's probably a bit early to say, but certainly from our perspective in Allianz, as I said, over 100 years in terms of supporting communities and using that voice for the betterment of society. So that will certainly be a focus. And as we are one of the main insurers of the schools, certainly focus on youth and upcoming athletes and how we can support them will be central to the programme. And as you say, absolutely, storytelling is going to be key, like to follow the athletes and Team Ireland in terms of their preparation and the dedication. And that really fits with that story of courage, the courage that they have, every day to push themselves beyond their limits. And, I think we can really bring to life a lot of those stories and create a lot of pride and excitement on that road to Paris. So yeah, it's a case of having to watch this space, Rob.
Well, we will do that with anticipation and excitement. In a couple of months' time, Paris will only be 2 years away. Not that I want to frighten you into that thought process, but for now, for the moment, anyway, thanks very much to you, Valerie Hedden, sponsorship manager at Allianz, and Peter Sherrard, CEO of the Olympic Federation, for taking the time to join us today and to give us an insight into what this great commercial partnership is going to look like in the future. Thank you very much.